Thank you for choosing the SNL Fan Podcast. I'm your host, just some guy named Jay. And this particular podcast edition is dedicated to a true SNL fan. And I want to say before I even really get deep into this podcast, I don't like to do, you know how people tweet and they tweet rest in peace and they go on Facebook and they say rest in peace to the person that died and stuff like that. And I'll be thinking like the person can't see you, but I know they're, I know they're doing it to honor the person, and like that, and kind of also let everybody know. But this person that passed away isn't just any old person, and it's just not just any old, just saying it to a friend or just one of your dead homies or something like that. Well, yeah, dead homie too, but this person that passed away, who I'm dedicating this SNL Fan Podcast to, is my dad. My dad, and so that's why it's a little, a little deeper than that. And I know a lot of y'all don't know him, and a lot of y'all don't even know me. So it's like I don't really expect anybody to really, to really feel it like that. So, I just want to do this because my dad is actually, and it fits on this podcast too, because my dad is actually the reason I'm an SNL fan. Well, he actually got me hooked on it. He's the reason actually. He was a real fan of the show, the original cast, the golden era. Actually, I say the first 10 seasons of it. My dad, really was really into it, like really into it. And I was born in the early 80s. But, my dad used to look at the original cast with, back in the 70s with Gilda Radner and Garrett Morris and Bill Murray and all them. And he really liked it. When I was born, he used to look at he used to go back and look at tapes of it, VHS tapes of it, of Chevy Chase and Bill, the original cast. One of his favorites in the original cast was Dan Aykroyd, He really liked Dan Aykroyd and Garrett Morris and Gilda Radner, he used to and one of his favorite sketches is he used to like that skit where it's between Gilda Radner and Dan Aykroyd is the dad, and she's telling her a bedtime story and talking about and the bedtime story is like he's naming parts on the car. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. And she was like, "Daddy, did they look under the hood?" Yes, darling. They looked under the hood and stuff. That's one of his favorite sketches. He also liked the when Eddie Murphy came back to host. When he came back and he came back in white faced and he saw how the people were treating him differently when he was a white person. He really liked that. And he had tapes of it. He had 12-inch vinyls and stuff of SNL. And he used to rewind it. He used to laugh. He used to. I remember when I was a baby. I know a lot of people don't really remember, and I don't either. You don't remember things when you're like 3 and 4. Not really. You kind of vaguely remember things as you get older. But I have like some of my early. This is how much. Some of my earliest memories in my life is my dad looking at SNL. I did for real. That's like my earliest memories of him looking at like the season when Eddie Murphy was in the years when Eddie Murphy was in the cast and stuff, and I have that opening montage to the 10th season when Billy Crystal and Martin Short and all them, and Christopher Guest and all them was in the cast, where they were big throughout the city and those hot dogs were floating and stuff like that. And Mary Gross shoots down that helicopter with bug spray, with a giant can of bug spray. That is just ingrained. That's like one of the earliest memories I have. Like my dad really liked the show. He used to laugh, rewind. I was a little kid, like 4 and 5. I'm sitting on the couch. And he's sitting me on the couch and looking at it with me and laughing and look at this, Jonathan, look at this. I remember that. I really remember that, man. And when you're like young, you're like, oh, this ain't no cartoon, so I'm not really interested. And when Weekend Update come up there, I get bored. I'm like, what the heck is this? And and so I never really got into it then when I was a kid. And And I say like in the mid 80s, like when Dana Carvey and Phil Hartman and them came to the cast, my dad was more of a casual look viewer of the show. He didn't really look at it like strongly like he did back in the earlier years, But Phil Hartman, actually my dad said Phil Hartman was the best SNL cast member ever. He said that Phil Hartman he said Phil Hartman was better than Eddie Murphy. That's what he said, But yeah, he said like his top five is like if I can remember, because my dad used to talk about SNL a lot. His top five is like Phil Hartman, Eddie Murphy, Gilda Radner, I think Jane Curtin, and Dan Aykroyd. I think it might be more than that, but But then my dad, he kind of stopped looking at it when new people come, and I actually didn't start really looking at SNL. I started looking at it casually, like that season when Chris Elliott joined the cast, and I was like, I think I was in middle school. No, not middle school. I think I might have been in the 6th or 7th grade. I can't. I gotta. My memory kind of fuzzy on it. But I kind of casually started looking at it when Chris Elliott joined the cast, because I remember my dad telling me, like, "Hey, the dude from Get a Life is in the cast of SNL. Check it out." And I was like, "Oh yeah," because I used to look at Get a Life when I was a kid, when I was younger. And then, when you look at stuff when you're a kid, you kind of don't get certain jokes. When you look at it as an adult, you're like, you kind of get it. Some of the things you didn't get when you were a kid. So some of the stuff that you looked at when you were a kid, kind of go back and look at it, the adult kind of things. Go back and look at it now as an adult. You'll get some of the jokes you didn't get back then, of course, because you didn't really live life yet, But yeah, I started looking at it with Chris Elliott, and my dad is the one that told me, "Hey, check it out, Chris Elliott, and he kind of stopped watching it, and I kind of casually was watching it, but I didn't really become a fan of us like how I am now, where I'm like look at every episode. And so I say that 98, 99 season when Chris Parnell and Rachel Dratch and all of them started coming on the cast, Horatio Sands and them, Jimmy Fallon, when they started coming on there, that's when I really started looking at it heavily. And then I started going back and looking at all this stuff, because my dad had stuff on tape, and my dad was like, I remember, because I was in my late teens by that time, and we'd sometimes go to they had Hollywood Video and Blockbusters and stuff, and my dad like, "Hey, yo, you want to look at some SNL? You go rent that. I'm renting some of the old tapes and some of the old DVDs of like best ofs and stuff like that, like Best of Steve Martin. He wasn't in the cast, of course, but he had his best of and stuff like that, and you know what I'm saying? I have a lot of memories of SNL because of my dad, actually. And I really started getting hooked on it, just kind of hanging around, just him talking to me and stuff, and sometimes he'd point reference something from Saturday Night Live. He really would. And so I kind of started liking it just like him, like how he did. And my mom used to tell me, like, "Yeah, you like it just like he likes it, And then, as I, got older, got out the house and kind of moved on and stuff like that. Of course, I still kept watching it and also kept going back and looking at the older things. And sometimes on occasion, me and my dad would have conversations about it. Like, because my dad, he kind of older, when he got like a little older, he didn't really look at it like that, because like these new celebrities that host and things like that, he wasn't really into it. But every now and then he'd check it out and tell me about it or whatever. Like, "Hey, did you see that? Did you see that one where such and such host, that skit Maya Rudolph was in? Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, I see that." Or he would kind of critique it too. Like, "Oh man, I saw that episode when such and such hosted. I really didn't like that, but but what's the name was good in it." Some of his favorite cast members, like in the later years, he really liked Bill Hader. Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig. Those were two of his people he liked. Fred Armisen, he liked Fred Armisen. He really liked Daryl Hammond. He was like, "Yo, Daryl Hammond needs to get his own show, or he needs to do some movies and stuff." And and he was really into it. Like we used to talk about it. And, I showed him some articles, like some blog articles and things like that. And one of the articles was like the best SNL cast members of such and such, or whatever like that. And he looked at it and he got mad that Amy Poehler was higher than Gilda Radner. Like, what I'm saying? Like, that's a fan for you right there. He's like, how the heck they gonna put Amy Poehler higher than Gilda Radner? And he's debating the article and stuff, And my dad had, just like how SNL makes people laugh, when it's funny, of course. my dad was known for being a funny guy. Like he made everybody laugh. He made everybody laugh at cookouts. Made everybody laugh at family functions, on his job, everywhere he went, and he was just known for it. Actually, he graduated from Garinger High School here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he was voted the most wittiest or the best, the most funniest when he was a senior. He was, and he showed it to me and things. And he's he was very funny. He had a very sense of humor. And my dad, he kind of secretly kind of admired stuff like SNL because, he kind of secretly, wanted to do things like that. But, these are part of the real world and you got to work and really took that seriously, trying to pursue the career in comedy. That wasn't really something he thought would have been possible, I guess. So, he stayed in the real world. But I'm going to do it, though. I'm going to take some more improv classes, and I'm going to start performing. And I'll update you guys on that. But yeah, this, like I said, I basically wanted to dedicate this podcast to my dad. He passed. And when he got sick, when he started getting sick, I used to come over there and visit and sit with him, and we'd look at SNL. We look at Saturday Night Live together. He stopped. Well, he got sicker, so he kind of stopped, pretty much watching TV altogether. When his health started declining, but man, I can't even really think, can't really focus, but yeah. What was the last episode he saw? I think the Ed Norton episode, but he recently passed, but the last episode he saw before his health really started declining was the Ed Norton episode. And he didn't really look at the rest. I remember he was like, "Yo, they got the AT&T guy on here. What's the AT&T guy doing on?" Talking about Beck Bennett, Beck Bennett. He didn't like that Tina Fey episode. He was like, "Oh man, that Tina Fey episode wasn't that good." And he likes Tina Fey too. That's another person he thinks is real funny. He likes a lot of like a lot of SNL people. One of his people that he doesn't like though is Will Ferrell. He doesn't really like Will Ferrell. Like he thinks Will Ferrell's funny, but he doesn't think Will Ferrell is funny as the hype he's getting or that he's gotten. He thinks Will Ferrell is he actually thinks, he says Ben Stiller is funnier than Will Ferrell. And Ben Stiller's funnier. But I know that's somebody would definitely debate that. But yeah, my dad was into it. He was into it. He watched the current episodes. Not like I did though. I can't miss one. If if I'm doing something on a weekend or something, I got to plan around SNL, or I'll if I don't tape it or something like that. And during the summertime, that's when I really get out on the weekends. I hate to say, unless it's a rerun. Like on reruns, I'll do something on a weekend. But I'm a fanatic on that level. Like I've canceled dates. That's sad. I know, but you guys will never understand the connection that I have with my father and the connection I have with that was kind of our thing. We kind of bonded on SNL. Even though there's other things that we bonded on. I mean, my love for my dad goes way beyond our connection for SNL, but it's just that since this is the only this is the only podcast I really want to talk about my personal situation on, but yeah, I just wanted to share it, kind of share where my kind of obsession, where it rooted from, because if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be here. And if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be an SNL fan probably either. Well, I might have discovered it on my own and kind of, liked it or whatever. But my father is really my early memories of us watching it together is really kind of what kind of helped my obsession with the history and the growth of this show. And I'm also a comedy nerd too, so that kind of blends in it with it. But I just wanted to share that, just wanted to talk about it. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely miss him. But I'm trying to think, is there anything else I wanted to add to this? Yeah, that's probably it. Um, Oh yeah, my dad also talked about. He saw a list of people that were going to be SNL cast members, and he was like, "Oh man, they slept on some good people." Like he was like, "Oh, Louis C.K. should have been in the cast, and Robert Townsend could have been in the cast." But yeah, that's pretty much all I can think to say as far as this. I just wanted to kind of, you know, dedicate this to him. Rest in peace, Dad. True SNL fan. Cause like I said, I don't do that getting on Twitter and getting on Facebook and say rest in peace and all that stuff like that. So this is my version of it. Since I don't do it that way, I'll just say it on the podcast, and just all right. Well, I don't really know what else to say. I just wanted to share it, and all you, if you actually listen to it, thank you. Just thanks for listening. It's my personal little thing I wanted to put on here, and that just wanted to kind of get it off my chest. All right, and also stay tuned. I got some other ones. I've been getting a lot of requests for me to say something about Sasheers and Maida. And oh yeah, I also want to say too, my father was looking forward to the next black African American, next black female comedian to join SNL. He was actually looking forward to seeing who they were going to pick, and unfortunately, he passed away passed away before the news got out that Sasheers and Maida would have been in the cast. But I know he was actually looking forward to seeing that. That was one of the things he was looking forward to. But he didn't get to see it, but yeah, I'm gonna speak on Sasheers and Maida since y'all are flooding my inbox with it, and I like that. Keep doing that. Keep sending me requests. You send requests, I'll do it. Like I think somebody sent me a request a while back on what I thought about Cecily Strong, and so that's where the boom boom bang thing came from. So yeah. So keep definitely sending me requests and things you want me to do. All right, that's all I like to say. I'm just some guy named Jay. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.